The much-delayed fraud, money laundering and corruption trial of former President Jacob Zuma gets underway today. This at the High Court in Pietermaritzburg after a bruising defeat in the Supreme Court of Appeal, which dismissed his bid to remove lead prosecutor Billy Downer. Zuma now wants to pursue a private prosecution. So to discuss this even further, we're now joined by legal expert Nthabiseng Dubuzana. And Nthabiseng, thank you for your time. Good morning to you on this freezing Monday morning. Let's hopefully get into it and, talk about what to expect today in Pietermaritzburg. We know that, of course, the Jacob Zuma Foundation announcing that fresh bid to basically pursue a private prosecution of Billy Downer. I mean, what do you make of this? The NPA has termed it delayed tactics, but what do you make of this decision by the former president?
Well, I suppose everybody has a right to exercise every single legal avenue available to them in order to get them a better outcome or the outcome that they think that they deserve. Whether it is viewed as delaying or not, he has that right to try and explore it. So having said that, if he is intending on putting in an application for private prosecution, he still needs if it's going to be in terms of Section 7 of the Criminal Procedure Act, he still needs the DPP to sign a certificate of nolle prosequi. But then usually this is when the DPP refuses to prosecute an individual, then they will sign that certificate for you. In this instance, however, he made the application in the High Court and same was denied, and he then took it as an appeal, and still it stood that Billy Downer must continue as a prosecutor. Perhaps if it were to go under Section 7, maybe the state will look at the fact that even though the application was refused by the court and also on appeal it was upheld, it could be seen as one way they can issue a certificate of nolle prosequi, which I don't think they will. And then if we look at Section 8, however, whereby it is conferred to by law, then it's also a whole situation where the DPP has to look at the merits of the matter and write basically something similar to a nolle prosequi certificate, whether they accept that they are not going to proceed with prosecution, and therefore there can be private prosecution in this regard. There's also a third option whereby it is in terms of the Legal Practice Act, whereby it is conferred to a private prosecutor by law, and also in terms of Section 35(3) of the Constitution. So there's there's three aspects rather whereby they can use the application to do private prosecution. I'm not really sure if that will be acceptable, considering that today the actual trial is supposed to start after the appeal was not held up rather in the Supreme Court of Appeal.
And that was going to be my next question, to say that will this in any way impact trial today?
If the application of private prosecution, I beg your pardon, has not started as yet, it cannot halt the proceedings of the trial unless the defense team puts it to the court and makes it a request that the matter be postponed to afford them an opportunity to put in this application for private prosecution. If the court feels that it will be prejudicial against the accused, if they do not postpone the matter, perhaps the court will be inclined to allow that postponement. However, if the court looks at the delay that has happened since the matter began to date and feels like if the matter is postponed yet again, it will be a delay in the matter itself, it may not be granted. I think at this stage, you're probably looking at the decision of the presiding officer, how he is going to react to this application should it be put forth to him today.
Right. We know at the same time, obviously, we're having this conversation because Zuma's legal team is saying that the former president would not receive a fair trial if Billy Downer remains the lead prosecutor, and therefore have applied for a postponement. How do you think Judge Pitkun would handle this postponement application? What are the grounds for it?
The grounds that, like you just said, the grounds are that they feel that their client will be prejudiced against should the matter proceed with Billy Downer's lead prosecutor. And like I said in the beginning, everybody is entitled to explore every single avenue of law that is available to them. So if the court feels like, okay, I decided that the application didn't have any merit, it went on appeal and my decision was confirmed, and yet you still feel that you're being prejudiced. If at the end of this trial and you're found guilty, and in the beginning you'd already voiced your opinion that you're going to be prejudiced against, then it might make my decision on that matter to be rendered null and void should it go on review or on appeal in a higher court.
Right.
So I think he might, I don't know. I don't feel like he will give it. I really don't think he's going to give that postponement, but it will depend on what kind of argument the legal team and the Zuma puts forth.
Right. So should the postponement not be granted then, Nthabiseng, what can we expect to take place in court today?
Then today the actual trial starts, so the state will open its case and then it will call its first witness, and that's how the cookie will crumble until the matter continues. Yeah.
All right then. Of course, we'll be looking with bated breath at what happens in Pietermaritzburg. But thank you so much, Nthabiseng. If you're just giving us a synopsis of what to expect in court today. Pietermaritzburg Dubuzana is a legal expert there. We know that, of course, the trial is set to take place, expected to at the Pietermaritzburg High Court, with the former president expected to attend as well. And we'll be sure to give you those visuals live right here on eNCA.